Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. I probably should have taken a drink before I went live, but my mind's not all there right now. Bagel, bagel. Oh yeah, Bagel's right here. She's like, hey everybody. Oh, I have that. What is that? A golden sword? Thank you. Okay, close the door. Thank you. That's weird. So my son just brings me a golden sword. That's odd. Oh yeah. Okay. Anyway, so I'm tired. Let me just really quick. Okay, let's go. I am so ready to go. I am still really freaking tired. So let's read a couple comments. What do you got here? Derek. Hey, what's up, Derek? Hello. 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 Is there anybody in there? Uh, Let me know if you can hear. Isn't it not if you can hear me? The Pink Floyd song, "Comfortably Numb." Hello. Is there anybody in there? Which sounds very Bob Dylan, right? Just not if you can hear me. Is there anyone at home? Can you come out? Uh, oh, whatever. Just a little pinprick. You'll feel no more. But you may feel a little sick. Dude, Comfortably Numb, Pink Floyd, one of the greatest freaking bands acts ever. Because there's a difference. There's a difference. For a band that really just has a bunch of stupid dots over back and a big freaking pig that shows up once in a while, freaking amazing live band. I'm saying. All right, let's get let's get moving along. Hey, Silent Night, what's up? Yeto, holy crap, it's freaking Yeto. What's up, Yeto? How you doing? Cryptid's here, Tomid's here, Pose Poems, hey, Griffo 33, Professor Griffo is in the house. Wow, your setup different. It's been like 5 months. It's been one of your live streams, Professor. I know. What's up, Yeto? What's up? What's up? You've been busy though. I understand. We had a private conversation. I know you've been busy. Thank you for the mic check, Tommy. Like mic check, mic check. It looks better. Oh, why? Thank you. Thank you very much. Clifton Hatchet. I love the name. Salutations. I'm here for all things comic book. Awesome. So am I. What's up, Professor Bill? What's up, Dora? How you doing? It's been tough. I thought we. I thought we. Okay, so Professor Wheel Jackafool. Why would I call myself Professor Wheel Jackafool? Oh, by the way, I don't think I've ever worn this Venom shirt before. You can actually see the spider outline underneath. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, I'm tired, so I guess my cat allergies are giving me an attitude. Snyder, let's get it. Oh yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that, dude. I'm going to be talking about this on my podcast tonight with Chillmonger. I have got to admit I was wrong. I was as wrong could be. I was so so freaking tired always hearing the freaking, release Connecticut. I was like, yeah, it'd be nice, but they're never going to listen to you. Warner Brothers is never going to listen to that. And let's be realistic, they're never going to listen to it. And I've talked to plenty of people in the comic book industry, like creators. I'm talking artists, writers. I'm talking like editors. I'm talking people who just work at comic book store, whatever. And every single one of them, for the most part, saying it would be nice, but it's never going to happen. Warner Brothers is never going to do it. I was just like, oh my God, just stop. But you know what? You were right. I was wrong. I'm good. I never have a problem admitting I was wrong. Sometimes I have a problem admitting I'm wrong to people who will themselves never admit they were wrong, but we'll get into that in the podcast. But no, dude, persistence pays off. It shows. So, hey, you know what? I stand completely corrected. I can't wait to see the Snyder cut. I've been saying that for a while. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. I just don't think we're ever going to see it. But hey, turns out we're going to be seeing it now. So about a year from now, one more reason to get the what do you call it? Next week we're going to see it HBO Max, which I love that stupid name. So anyway, dude, Snyder cut, it's coming. It's coming, whether some of us like it or not. And I would hate to be one of those people, but I'm telling you right now, wow, we're finally going to see it. They're actually giving him a budget to put it together and everything. So, okay, it's going to be 4 hours long, something like that. Oh, I don't know if it's going to be better. I honestly don't know if it's going to be better. And obviously, it's going to go back to being super dark. The Vince McMahon quilt over top of a camera in a dark room. After painting the lens. But like I said, I'm willing to look at it. I'm willing to check it out. So, wow, love of Venom. Not sure the Snyder Cut will make the original movie any better. I think that it'll make the cinematography a lot better because it is Zack Snyder's cinematography. So I'm sure it's going to be a much more beautiful film, if not darker than hell, because he's definitely not going to go for those bright scenes. I promise you that. But and we're guaranteed to see Dark Side too. It was already announced. Ray Porter was is Dark Side. I can't wait to see it. I already know how the scene is supposed to happen because I know a bunch of people who wind up letting it leak through friends of friends of friends. But yeah. Let's see. The cat. You give me Alf vibes. Alf. That was the first. That was the second series. That was the second series I collected every single issue of. So it's first the original Marvel Transformers series, and then the Alf series, which was a very easy series to collect. There's only like 22 issues or so. Um, what do you call it? Me too. I don't have any expectations like most DCU films, but I'm going to say, yeah, absolutely. And if you're getting the HBO Max series or digital streaming service anyway, you're getting it like that. So hey, all hail Empress Bagel. There we go. Silent Night. Man, I remember I used to say the Snyder Cut existing is like learning how many licks it takes to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop. The world may never know. Exactly, right? But we were wrong. All hail Dark Side. But yeah, people have been talking the talk about the Snyder Cut. Now it's time to walk the walk and show if it was worth all the fuss. Well, plus they gave him what do you call it? Time limit. Like, yeah. Well, kind of a time limit. Sometime in 2021, that's when you got to release it. So it's a whole year and a half. Technically, he has to work with that, but whatever. We'll see. The only thing I've enjoyed from DC media has been Legends of Tomorrow, Swamp Thing, and Doom Patrol. I wasn't a fan of Legends of Tomorrow when it first came out. I heard it got better. Swamp Thing, I only watched the first episode. I liked the first episode. I got to go and get the DVD one of these days. And Doom Patrol, I loved. Have that DVD. Watched it on DC streaming service. Didn't realize the Snyder Cut was still a year out. Yeah, a year, maybe a year and a half out. They said sometime in 2021. I am the standalone guy for the most part. I'd enjoy the DC movies, right? You'd figure every scene, whatever. I'll talk more about it in the thing. Okay, so what figures am I going to be opening this week? First off, I want to show you guys something that I got. Bad dudes. Bad dudes. I got bad dudes. It doesn't work. I plugged it in. It doesn't work. I didn't bother doing the batteries thing, but I did plug it in. Maybe I'll actually put the batteries in and see if it works. I'll play the game. I'll play the game if it works. But this is the original Bad Dudes video game, but miniaturized. You can actually remove the joystick and just keep it a little D-pad. You know what I'm saying? But whatever, dude. I got the Bad Dudes video game. You know me. I've got all of my I've got a whole bunch of here. I've got this and three others besides this one. So I've got 5 video games now. You know what I'm saying? The little miniature ones that I can use for my 1/12 inch scale figures. Dude, I am super excited to have this. Plus, I got it for free. I know, right? So Toys R Us reopened in Canada. Yes, Toys R Us never left here in Canada. So Toys R Us reopened, and it reopened on Tuesday. And stupid me, I didn't go. Some people have said, no, smart you didn't go. Well, kind of. Most people didn't realize it had reopened, so it was empty on Tuesday. So all of the Marvel Legends and Transformers and whatnot figures collecting, here in Canada, memberships that I'm in Facebook, they're all just like, oh my God, I forgot that it opened today. And some people going in and getting good deals. So I went into my Toys R Us the next day. And I was just like, well, I expected it was going to be filled, but most people didn't realize that it was open. So, I didn't go on Tuesday. I should have just gone on Tuesday. Who knows what I missed out on? Anyway, so I went in uh, on Wednesday instead. I go in and there's nothing there. All the same stuff that was on the pegs, the the 2 months ago are the exact same things that were on the pegs today, or Wednesday, which was such a heartbreaking bummer, dude. Such a heartbreaking bummer. I was expecting to see the black outfit Storm Marvel Legends collectible figure. I was expecting to see like a She-Hulk. I already got the She-Hulk, but honestly, I'd have bought another one just to hold it for a trade. Sometimes I do that. I'll find a good sale, or I'll find something that's really cool, and I'll be like, you know what, I'm going to buy this, and I don't scalp them. You know what I'm saying? But I do hold them for maybe sometime in the future. I'll see on one of the Facebook groups, somebody will be like, oh, hey, check it out. You know what I'm saying? I've got such and such. What does anybody have to trade for it? And I'll be like, ooh, I'm willing to trade such and such that I bought and kept on reserve just to be able to get something like that. I actually did that with my Doctor Doom. I had an extra General Grievous. So I held the General Grievous, and I held it for months and months, and I just left it off in the back. And I've got an entire top shelf of a cabinet filled with toys like that. When they start re-releasing toys, that's when I realized they made a mistake. Oops. I heard that they're re-releasing the Beast, or they potentially could re-release the Beast figure. Crap, that was one of the big ones. So yeah, I'll probably wind up eating that cost. Oh well, you know what I'm saying? But anyway. So they're going to be doing the whole apocalypse wave stuff and all this stuff. So I'm just going to, hold a bunch of stuff, and then maybe they're going to be releasing Age of Apocalypse. Apocalypse. They just announced it yesterday, and I'm ecstatic for it. Anyway, so yeah, I went into the Toys R Us, and they were just like, "Oh, hey, check it out. Here's this thing," and I was like, "Wow, I'll buy it if it works. I'll buy it." So I kept on going to all the little, uh, booth, the polls that have the price checker, and all four of them in the store didn't work. I'm like, well, this sucks. So I went up, and this is the only thing, I couldn't find anything else I wanted to buy. It's like this day sucks. You know what I'm saying? I was out anyway. I was like, this day sucks. I can't find anything in the Toys R Us, and they just reopened. Damn it. So, and everybody else is posting cool stuff that they got. So I go up. I was like, how much is this? And it rings up as 1 cent. Yeah, $0.01 brings up his 1 cent. I was like, what? So he goes and he talks to a manager. He comes back. He's like, this is a discontinued item. We were supposed to pull off the shelves. We didn't. It was supposed to just be destroyed or thrown in the trash. But since you found it, you can have it. I was like, for a penny? And I was like getting ready to reach in my pocket because we don't do pennies anymore. I was just going to give him a nickel and be like, hey. And he's like, no, free. I was like, yes. So it doesn't work. I don't care. I plan on using it for my figures to be going to an arcade one day, probably Jubilee, to do a stop motion animation of the Night of the Sentinels. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Anyway, so that's awesome. I'm not upset at that at all. I'm going to get to the comments in a moment, but I'm going to open a couple. I'm going to let you guys know a couple things I'm going to be opening. One, I got the Deadpool taco truck. I bet your Cryptid is right now flipping out. What? Yeah, it's a die casts Deadpool taco truck. Boom. I've also got the movie that I still didn't watch yet, duh, even though I bought it when it first came out. It's already on DVD now. I'm probably going to wind up getting it on DVD. It'll be easier to watch probably. Anyway, so I've got a digital version. Now I'm probably going to get the physical version. If I get the physical version, I'll probably give the code to the digital version there out to somebody. But anyway, yeah, Bloodshot. I got Vin Diesel as Bloodshot. I have got, why do you think I called myself Wheeljack and a fool? Because I got Wheeljack. This is all just stuff that I've had for a while and I never opened. I never got around to opening them. I'm going to open the Lando Calrissian in the Great Pit of Sarkoon on Jabba's skiff. I'm also going to open the AT-AT Walker. Is AT-AT? Yes, AT-AT Walker driver. And first thing I'll probably open is this 2-pack, which I've had the longest and not opened. So that's Ant-Man and Stinger. So I'm going to open that guy up and see what's what. And while I'm getting ready to do that, let me go and check out some of the stuff that was said in the comments section. Boom. Okay, so I'm going to open this puppy up while I'm doing something. Here's a little knife that I got from the dollar store. And I never... Hey, Cryptid, thank you for the super chat. Super chat for the Deadpool taco truck. Well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it dance, but you know what? I'll try. All right, fine. I'll open that one first. Oh, man. Okay, so I'll open the Deadpool taco truck up. Glad you're in the chat, not just for the super chat, but just because I was thinking to myself, if I open this up and he's not in the chat and he sees this afterwards, he's gonna be so mad that he missed this live. Oh, it does have tape here. Darn it! I looked, didn't see it. Is there more? No, the buck stops there. That's it for the tape. Yeah, that's it for the tape. So let me open this side also. What are you looking at, Bagel? You got something you want to say? I guess I'm gonna have to actually open the bottom because it seems to be a bit skurk. Wow. Oh, it's freaking taped on the bottom. This is horrible. Whatever. Security? I don't know if you even want to call it security. It's just booty. Oh, are you kidding me? I need a screwdriver? I need a screwdriver to get this thing off. Let me open it that way. Okay, so it's got this device on the bottom that I have to unscrew. You can see that I was still able to get the thing out and I could just put it in a pocket and walk away, right? Like, come on. Anyway, so boom, the taco truck. No doors open on this thing because it's die cast, but it does have, this side it doesn't, this side it does. It has the little menu. Hi. So let's see, what's on the menu? Tacos. There's also burritos and chimichangas, but those are crossed out, which is hysterical. Asian beef, all pasture pork, YOLO chicken. Oh, that's just hysterical. Taco del Hombres Rojo for the menu. Just tacos. Tacos El Guerrero. Oh, hey, this thing does open, though. There's some tape on it. So I guess this is the window. Okay, so let me put that there. And when I open this, okay, well, that's no fun. That's boring and booty. Anyway, the side window thing here, it actually opens up so you can see nothing inside. There's actually like a little thing, whatever, but like Deadpool's not inside. There should have been a little Deadpool in there just going with a chef's hat or something. Like, I feel robbed. But anyway, that can open. So, cool. Cool. No complaints. No complaints. Thank you, Cryptid. Thank you for the super chat. So I'm going to have to get a small screwdriver. I have plenty of them. And boom, open that up. It's cool. You can use Phillips head or flathead for it, though. So I like that they did that. Okay, now let's opening up Ant-Man and Stinger. Greetings, Jamal. Jamal is here. What's up? Oh, Silver Surfer is here, too. Oh, Surfer, I was just reading a couple issues of Savage Sword of Conan today. You'll probably be super happy to hear that. What do you want, Bagel? Can you let her out, please? Thank you. I'm doing the live chat. Why? Oh, that was before. You know, this is probably the first time I've ever seen you in makeup at home with nobody coming over. I guess. Oy. So today is Eid for most people. Eid is a funny holiday, and my wife practices. What do you call it? I of course had to hang up all the freaking decorations, but hey, yeah, the Eid is a funny one. Both Eids because it all depends on the moon. Because the Muslims use a lunar calendar, so of course some people see the moon in their country, other people's won't. Some people say, well, you saw it in your country, so we're supposed to do that. And other people will be like, no, if I don't see it myself, I'm not breaking my fast. So everybody else will be breaking it tomorrow, but whatever. Anyway, so the end of Ramadan, and everybody's eating today, and it's a celebration. So I had to hang the decorations. So this is the inside. That's cool. I don't think I'll be keeping this. I might. You know what? Because I've never seen it before. It's not like I can get it again unless I buy the same figures again. I'll keep it probably just to show the figures thing because it does look cool. It's a cool background. And I'm a hoarder. Let's just face facts. Bagel left, so no more crotch shot for you guys. Unless you pay. I'm joking. No, even if you pay, you're not getting a crotch shot. Well, it depends on how much. I can negotiate. Aye, so boom, open up those wings. So Ant-Man and Stinger. Boom. Okay, so with Ant-Man, he's just as basic as basic. Ooh, I like when you can hear that ratcheting sound. God, that's great. So here is, in fact, Ant-Man. He's actually a really cool figure. I like this. Like, I definitely don't need another Ant-Man figure. I surely don't. And yet, boom, because it's the only way to get Stinger. So this is a different costume. I don't have, well, I have this costume. I didn't have it before. They always release the costumes just a little bit different from each other. So, hey, Rojo means red. Oh, cool. Like in French, rouge. Okay, and then here's Stinger. You got to actually put her wings on. Stinger, for anybody who doesn't know, is what you call it, is the daughter. This is Cassidy, Casey. This is Casey, not Casey Jones. That's a little bit different, but Casey Pym, basically. She's the daughter of Ant-Man, and her first identity was actually as stature. She would grow really tall. She could still grow tall like this. They just showed it recently in the Ant-Man comic book. But okay, I've actually got a Okay, so it's not closing more in this without the back actually bubbling up. You could see right here it bubbles up if I'm not careful. So it's not a big deal. I just have to scrape out some of the stuff in there. It's not a big deal at all. This other wing opens and closes without a problem. So anyway, her second identity was as Stinger. So boom, now I've got Stinger. I've got to get a redheaded girl's head, head for this to actually be her without the costume on. A redheaded girl in Marvel. That's like a blonde hair, blue eyed guy in Marvel. They're everywhere. So, uh, seriously, take Gwen Stacy off the table. How many women besides Gwen Stacy can you think of that don't have red hair? Right? So not too many. Not too many. Of course, we can all think of some, but not too many. Okay, let's check out some more comments. Oh, geez. Hey, Silva, make sure that you what do you call it? You make sure you understand that the other person understands what you're talking about. But are you black enough to? Oh, what's up here? Professor, did I miss your thoughts on Uncle Joe's latest gaffe? Look, man, okay, in case anybody doesn't know, what was it, yesterday? I think it was yesterday morning on Charlemagne the God has this show on YouTube called The Breakfast Club. It's actually on the radio, 105.1, I think it is. I don't get that station up here. Anyway, he goes and he says at one point, he's first he starts talking about how how black Democrats take black people's votes for granted, and yes, 100% the Democrats do. You know what I'm saying? 100% they do. A little bit loco there, but so right there, like that sounds good. Now, Charlemagne the God, he's somebody I can't take too seriously because he picks his favorites based on something, and I can't figure out his formulary for this. It's the weirdest thing. I don't understand his formulary for it. Like he likes Kamala Khan, and I don't understand why he likes Kamala Khan. Kamala Khan. Can't believe I just did that. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Oh, Kamala Khan. Yeah, Ms. Marvel. He loves Ms. Marvel. Anyway, he has written some comic books though with Inhumans. He made himself an Inhuman in a comic book one time. So anyway, he likes Kamala Harris, even though on his show she admitted that she used to smoke weed and she still smokes weed today. Meanwhile, look at her record for all the people who she put in prison when she was the chief prosecutor for weed related incidents. Like, I'm sorry, I can't stand that level of hypocrisy. It's ridiculous. She should never even be considered to be president, vice president, chief counsel, nothing. Like, she's done. She's done. In my book, she's a hypocrite. She's done. Once you show yourself to be a hypocrite, you're done, in my opinion. Can't stand it. Anyway, so yeah. Meanwhile, he'll give Bernie all the hard questions. Hey, I was cool with it because Bernie answered all those questions. I think he answered them pretty well. Bernie has disappointed me as of late. It is what it is. I'm fickle like that, I guess. I have a solid stance of core beliefs, and if you break that, like shatter it, I try to be yieldy, but no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to just easily let that go. I'm going to at least entertain you guys with this while I'm giving my opinion on this. Anyway, so this interview, he ends the interview. Everybody's like, "Oh, we got to go. We got to go. We got to go." Charlemagne's funny. He says at one point, "Oh, you can't just cancel. You can't do that to black media." I'm cool with that. I don't have any problem with that. I thought that was funny. But then Biden goes and he cancels. He ends the show by saying, "I just want to say, if you, mind you, Biden is a white guy. He says, all I know is that if you don't vote for me in the prime or in the whatever, the primary is still technically happening. If you don't vote for me, if you vote for Trump over me, you ain't black." Did you really just say that? Uncle Joe, Uncle Hansy rapist Joe, did you really just say that? See, at the end of the day, Joe Biden is already disqualified for me. I will not vote for him. I know there are people who are just like, well, a vote, no vote for not voting is a vote for Trump. That's not what the Trumpites say. Trumpites are like, but not voting is a vote for Biden. Yeah. Sorry, bruh. So, Atat Walker. I have a core standard of beliefs, and I'm not going to change it just because somebody threatens me with, well, guess what's going to happen then? I'm not interested. I'm not going to vote by fear. That's not who I am. I personally, I am not hardwired for fear and excessive compromise. I'll only compromise if I think that, there's some advantage for me. I don't see any advantage for me or for the most part anybody else by Joe Biden being the president over Trump. I simply don't see that. Meanwhile, there's still people on the right who are like, Professor Bill has what is it? Trump derangement syndrome. No, if you think I have Trump derangement syndrome, you, in fact, actually have Trump derangement syndrome because you will vote for him no matter what he does. So don't tell me about freaking Trump derangement syndrome. Trump's a jackass. Biden's a jackass. Every single one of these guys are jackasses. The only two that come out as being the only one that comes out as almost perfect for me is Bernie. But even then, it's a compromised belief as it stands. He's my compromise candidate. Saying I believe in people who are going to make things a whole lot better than just what essentially Bernie was going to do. And then Yang would have been my second choice. Anyway, so here's the AT driver. He's got the gun. He's a missionary man. He got gun in his hand. Yeah, Eurythmics mentioned there. So that's cool. That's cool. I like that. I like that. So anyway, to say something like that. See, at the end of the day, it's like, dude, Biden is a rapist. In my opinion, like you could tell he's and I was trying to be fair with him. I remember there's this one guy who hasn't showed up anymore. I think because I yelled at him, he freaked out and he didn't show up in the live chat anymore, or at least he doesn't comment anymore. He went and said at one point, Joe Biden is really creepy because he's always touching girls that way. And I was like, I'm not going to get into that nonsense. All right. Yes, he's creepy. And I wouldn't want him touching my daughter like that. Yes, I agree 100%. But for crying out loud, dude, this guy is just like, who cares? Who cares? You know what I'm saying? As he hasn't been accused of rape, so who cares? He hasn't been accused of molestation, so who cares? Well, now all of a sudden there's an accusation. Now there's an accusation. So now I'm paying very close attention to that. And just like I wouldn't vote for Trump to get into office because he's a rapist, I'm not interested in or he's been accused of rape. He's been accused of raping his own wife. He's been accused of raping his own wife. So I'm also not going to vote for Biden on this because I'm principled. I'm not Alyssa Milano. I'm principled. I just don't think that rapists belong in an office, unless it's the office of the interior of a jail cell. So there's that. Anyway, yeah, if you ain't, what do you call it? If you don't vote for Biden, apparently you ain't black. Come on, man. Like, what's the matter with these people? So here we go. Lando Calrissian. Boom. If he didn't vote for, if he didn't vote, oh man, oh man. I met Billy D. Williams. Not like a handshake kind of thing. I wasn't going to pay $150 or whatever he's charging Canadian in order to shake his hand. This thing should be a lot longer. This pole should be a lot longer. This should be a full-on halberd, not this little quarterstaff with a pike on the end. Like, what is that? Anyway, and then he's got his little thing right here. Boom. Anyway. Shoop. Boom. Stick close to Lando. Lando? Yeah, I'm right over here. What? So awesome. I got this is my second, actually it's my third Lando Calrissian figure. The first one was the original one, then I got the solo movie version, and now I've got this. So boom, I got some Landos. I got Lando. I got Lando. I got Lando. I got Lando. I'm gonna open my boy Bloodshot here next. Professor Bill 2020. They would never go for that. They would never go for that. Like regular people wouldn't go for that, for crying out loud. Regular people wouldn't go for that. It is what it is, man. I don't understand people. I don't understand people, man. Dude, on the right, there's a culture I didn't understand. There are people who consider me an elitist. There are people who consider me an elitist. Not because I'm rich, because I'm not. I'm not. Not by any standards am I rich. You know what I'm saying? I guess, yeah, I can get a whole bunch of figures. Cool. I've got enough money to buy toys. I'm not rich, dude. If I die today, I got 4 kids. You know what they get? Figures and comic books. I'm sorry, that's not much different than these people who hate elitists when they're giving plates and Elvis memorabilia and NASCAR memorabilia, and they're holding that as their version of stocks. It's an investment in the future. Sorry, bud, but your what do you call it? Your Cal Ripken Jr. rookie card isn't going to be enough to put any of your kids through trade school, at least off freaking college. It's not going to happen. But that's me, dude. I don't have that kind of money. But apparently, since I have a good vocabulary, that makes me an elitist. I'm an English teacher. So apparently that makes me an elitist. I think that's hysterical, dude. I think it's hysterical. There is, and I can only describe it as a culture. There is a culture of people who actually believes that being intelligent or being educated makes you an elitist. I have a bachelor's degree. That's it. That's all I have is a bachelor's degree. But even if I had a doctorate, I don't know that that makes me an elitist. If I had a PhD, I don't know that that makes me an elitist. I'm self-educated more than anything else. You know what I'm saying? I got tired of the baloney that they give you in college. Just sit down and listen to me, and don't challenge. I've had it so many times where I've challenged a professor at university, and right away it's like, oh yeah, how dare you, and I've gotten a C average in the class because I dared challenge the professor. That's happened twice. One in a public speaking class, one in a history class. That's actually happened, a world history class specifically. Hey, what's going on there, Master Jarl? What's going on? Great content, Professor. Well, thank you very much. Oh, look, it's a redheaded female in Marvel. Imagine that. So, boom, we get here. I'm going to give you the dead shot. Yeah, bloodshot. He's just, like, oh, yeah, boom, that's how I dance. I mosh. Dungeons and Dragons forever. So there we go. It does look like Vin Diesel too, man. Look at that face. It's a face only a Diesel mama could love. Oh man, so that's cool, dude. I'm digging on that. Plus, he's got actual holsters. This is one of the 7-inch figures too. I'm usually not a big fan of those, but whatever. I guess it's Todd McFarlane, so right. This is McFarlane deal. Yeah, I can see the Spawn logo on it. Yep. So the pistols, they go right in the side. Oh, he's got his knife. Nothing for his knife. That's a little bit frustrating. Nothing for his knife. Just, I guess, put in his hand. His gun. There's nothing to hold his gun except his hand. So thank you, Master Jarl. Genuinely appreciated. But anyway, yeah, I got sick of the way that they teach in quotation marks in college. I don't like it. I know that I can get a whole lot further in my field if I were to go to school more, but I only have the patience for but so much. But either way, I don't begrudge education at all. At all. It's just we live in an internet age. We can learn things without freaking look at that. We can learn things without going to school and spending $1 million on going to school, on tuition and all that nonsense, which is why I believe that college should be tuition free so that everybody has the right to go to college. Trade school as well. I think that it should just be paid for by our tax dollars. We pay enough in taxes, for crying out loud. We certainly pay enough in taxes. We need to stop the frivolous spending and the nonsense spending. That's what we need to do. If I'm president, that's what I'm doing. I'm telling you right now. The freaking military budget, that gets cut in half if I'm in charge. But professor, you were a soldier. Yeah, the military budget gets cut in half. And the only way that I increase it, I'll increase it by a percentage of how much they're willing to increase soldiers' salaries. So if you're willing to increase a soldier's salary by 10%, I'm willing to increase the military budget by 10%. That's how I'm going to do things. That's how I roll. And if Republicans don't like that, if Rand Paul doesn't like that, if freaking the rest of the Democrats don't like that, because they're all the same in this regard. Nobody questions military spending, and none of that, not one penny of that goes. The increase goes to the actual soldiers. It goes to these big military industrial complexes, the war profiteers. It goes to them. The people are pushing, we need more wars. We need to start making some more wars. 8 wars isn't enough. Hey, we just had a huge bombing campaign in Somalia. My wife is Somalian. This actually, matters to me. So we have now had in 2019 more drone strikes than all 8 years of Obama being in office. Oh, that's right. Obama, who was the drone strike master, has not had as many drone strikes in Somalia specifically in all his 8 years of his warmongering office as this 1 year right now with Trump in office. I'm saying, what is the point of this? When has El Shabaab ever come to America? So no, there was just a big report about it yesterday. It's like, dude, I just don't want to hear that Trump is any different than Obama. I don't want to hear it. I'm simply not interested in hearing the nonsense. That's Trump derangement syndrome on the part of the people who say, no, he's better. No, he's not. He's the same. He's the exact same. Obama, Bush, Clinton, the other Clinton who almost got in, Gore who almost got in, all these scumbags, McCain, they're all scumbags. They're all a bunch of freaking war profiteers or helping war profiteers, helping big pharma, helping the rich people. What about the actual people who got you into office in the first place? No, it's ridiculous. Stuff kills me. So now it's time to start wheeljacking a fool. Now it's time to start wheeljacking a fool. We need lasers, but we just tested lasers that can take down planes. Did we know? Cool. Government pays for TAFE here, TAFE here in Australia. Not sure what that is. Hey, college is what it is. Went and tried it out, left soon, might get back one day. I'm telling you, man, that degree, that's a version of elitism right there. It's like, I don't care what you know. What I care is, what degree do you have? Why? Why can't you just ask me what I know? Because that's something that you could actually do in the electronics industry. That's something that I was able to get away with as an engineer. I was able to get away with, hey, I didn't actually finish my degree. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, no problem. Go ahead. You can still finish your degree while you're here. And then at one point, like, listen, if you want to just ignore finishing your degree, then don't worry about finishing your degree. We got extra hours for you because you really know what you're doing. All right, cool. No problem. I'll stay. So I dropped out of DeVry and I just continued going to regular school. Or excuse me, going to the real school of actually hands-on practicing, you know what I'm saying, doing what I'm doing, even though survivors always talked about hands-on. Hey, Master Jarl again. Master Jarl, if you've got this money, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. But dude, don't put yourself into debt or make your life harder. Just, I'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. That's 2 super chats now. I appreciate it, brother. Just like I said, worry about you, worry about yours. Oop, I'm good. I'm good here. Let me let's see, what do I got? Well, I guess you're going to get an Ant-Man. You're going to get an Ant-Man who's just, I'm so deep, whoop, and you're go dip, zip, I'm so cool, zip. There we go. So thank you very much, Master Jarl. Definitely Derek to the sharks with lasers. Embarrassing that we live in a country where a TV show personality actually won an election with nothing but memes and blaming Mexicans. Well, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, look at Barack Obama. Here's this guy who promised, hey, man, change. And we're like, are you going to affect any of that change? No, he just did more of the same. And his first real act as the president was to bail out the bankers. He actually went to the banksters and he says, hey, man, the only thing standing between them and you with this Occupy Wall Street thing is me. So I'm going to take care of you guys. I'm going to keep you guys safe. These guys did all these illegal stock trades and they screwed with us and all these people who are now without their homes, all the people who were homeowners and now have no homes. All of these people, here's the question. Here's the big question. Obama bailed out the bankers, but the bankers paid it back. What about the people who lost their homes because of the illegal trading that they were doing as banksters? What happened to those people? It was because think about it. What are tax dollars? They're our dollars. That's our money that you take at the tip of a gun, at the barrel of a gun. You say, hey, give me the tax dollars. You might not see the gun, but everybody knows that it's there. There's a reason why they say death and taxes are the only two things assured in life. Pay your taxes or you're going to be killed. We will shoot you. If you resist hard enough, we'll put you in jail. That's what we'll do. But if you resist hard enough, we'll just shoot you because it's too much work. You know what I'm saying? Dude, tax evasion, especially if you're poor, if you're rich, oh, don't worry about it. One, even if you go to jail, it's a country club. They call them the country club prisons. You know what I'm saying? But even if you avoid it, whatever, you're good. For crying out loud, if you're rich, you could be a freaking child porn star rapist. You know what I'm saying? Like Epstein, and go to jail for like, a couple hours a night and then go back and do your life of basically raping children, for crying out loud. Dude, it's the most ridiculous place in the world. We live in one of the most ridiculous times right now where this stuff happens in broad daylight and yet we're okay with it. We're all okay with it, right? Because it's not reported on. Oy. Um, what else we got here? What else we got here? I just saw, oh, Doug is here. What's going on, Doug? And I just see a laughter. I just see a laughter. Oh, here we go. Going back to college later in life and earning that piece of paper felt pretty good. Yeah, I went back to college to get my degree in business, business with business management with a specialty in marketing, and cool. It's literally stuff I could have done on my own. You know what I'm saying? That's what kills me. It's like it's a cool piece of paper. It does feel good to be able to say, look at what I accomplished. I put up with all these people's crap. God forbid you challenge a one of these guys, one of these professors, you know what I'm saying, in a belief. God forbid their sensitive little snowflakey egos if you challenge one of their beliefs because you actually have some experience in life. Dude, as a guy who studied religion for a long time, I remember when I went in, it just Ramadan just ended, and I remember saying to I remember the one history professor that I talked about earlier. Um, he said, what did he say? Crap. Oh, he said there was like 144 verses or chapters in the Quran. I said there's actually 114. He says there's 144. I'm like, sir, with all due respect, I was like what 20, 21 at the time, fresh out of active duty military. I'm like, sir, with all due respect, honestly, there's 114. He's like, are you a Muslim? I'm like, I said yes, even though I really wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like I was studying. Later on, I would look into the religion a whole lot more. But meanwhile, he's like, okay, so you pray 5 times a day? I'm like, yeah, all that. Like, I lied, but whatever. He's like, okay, so then there's 144 chapters in the Quran. I'm like, I don't see what you just did there. I don't see what you just did there. Um, because like I didn't want to challenge him. I was worried about challenging him because I was worried about my grade. Meanwhile, this guy is Jewish. He's not Muslim, he's Jewish. So what does it matter? So it's like, so if I am a Muslim and I do practice this, that, and the other thing, and I do practice fully and intentfully, then I have to agree with him, who is not a Muslim, who does not pray 5 times a day, who instead does whatever. Like, I don't understand what that word salad was that he did, but I had to be respectful, right? Even with being respectful. And he's just like, okay, do you have a Quran on you? I'm like, actually, I do. So I reached in my backpack and he was like, okay, so let me see this thing. So I showed it to him. I gave it to him. He's like, there's 144 in here. I was like, sir. And I opened it up and I showed him. I was like, it stops at 114. It stops at 114. There's 114 chapters in the Quran. They're called surahs. There's 114. And he's like, I don't know what this version of the Quran is that you have here. And that's when I knew, whatever. And I got a C in that class. I did great with my grades. I did great with everything that I did. Whatever, didn't matter. Didn't matter. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. So yeah, I got a C in that class because I challenged him in front of everybody too. I made him look stupid, and that was still with being super respectful. And yet he gave me a C in that. Dude, college is a joke. You know what I'm saying? It's a joke. It's a great piece of paper. It like I'm not gonna disparage the paper itself. The amount of sucking up whatever it is that you got to deal with in order to actually get that piece of paper. Like, if you get that piece of paper, you are a trooper, because you put up with basically shutting your brain off in the face of some people telling you, well, this is the way that this works. Yeah, but what about all of my life experience and everybody I know who's proven otherwise? No. What about this author who's published and said such and such a no? I say, and therefore, and just what I've got to say, regurgitate it back to me. And if you do it in the proper sentence, sentence structure, you will get a good grade in my class. Like, dude, that's ridiculous. I failed my PhD, Alan Russett says. Thank you for the $5. Oral defense last November, in part because I didn't defer enough to their vast experience. God, this is what I'm talking about, man. Dude, you are a freaking super trooper for that. You are straight up a super trooper. So you know what? Here's somebody who doesn't get a whole lot of love for being as smart as he is. And I'm telling you right now, Wheeljack did not go to college. I promise you, Wheeljack did not go to conventional college, because the comic books didn't do enough with him. But the movie, or excuse me, the TV show did. And Wheeljack, for the love of God, was one of the smartest freaking guys, and yet he got treated with not enough deferment to his vast knowledge. And I can't get this thing in here. There we go. His little missile. So you know what? You get a wheeljack dance for muscling through everything, paying all that money, owing all that student debt, because some jackass didn't think that you deferred to enough. The place where you're supposed to be able to free think and actually come onto your own and think on your own and do all the things that you want to do and actually come to your own conclusions in life, didn't defer to them enough. And that's just ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. These are people, they just really don't get it. Crom mocks your lack of faith because the real Jewish people pray 5 times a day. I love Perry Mason. Oh, hey, we need Perry. Anyway, so yeah, here's Wheeljack. I wonder if I could actually transform him without looking at the instructions. Dare I try it? Dare I try it? So, unfortunately, many jobs want to see that piece of paper. Tim Andrews, you are 100% right, and it's disgusting. Stepford Cuckoos versus the Golden Girls? I don't know, man. Those Golden Girls are pretty dangerous, dude. Especially Mauve. Dude, I don't want to mess with those Golden Girls. Okay, this looks like it comes up. It also looks like it's going to break. Yeah, this would actually break. This would actually break on me. Okay, so don't do that. Okay, so let's see. This probably goes up like this. What do I do with his head? Huh. So it probably just comes straight up. Probably. Comes straight up like... Do I turn it sideways? Bet you I just turn this sideways. Oh, look at that. Without reading the instructions, my peepa deeps. I don't think that's actually the way it's supposed to go. But what do I know? I'm just a gigolo, and everywhere I go. You know what? I'm not going to mess with this because then I'm going to have to try and figure it out from where I was. So he's going to stop smelling his armpit, go back to his normal position here. I'll try and do this with the actual instructions later on. That is wild. Anyway, so yeah, I'll put him in his regular form later. All right, so let's start just doing some of these guys here. I met Chris Hero, awesome guy. Oh, sweet, sweet Tommy. Some concept art for Birds of Prey was released. Oh yeah, I saw that too. Whatever. I think that with the release of the Snyder Cut, I wonder if everybody's going to get, because this is the floodgates. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if everybody's now going to get the opportunity to say, "Well, I want a director's cut of my movie." Like David Ayers was just talking about it recently. He's like, "I don't think they're going to let me do that." Meanwhile, it's like according to his vision, with that, and mind you, one of the people who butted in on his vision was Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder, that whole scene, like the slow motion final fight scene where they're, and all that stuff, that was Snyder. He jumped in. He's like, I'm going to put this scene in it. Why? Nobody asked you. Dude, butt out. Does anybody else jump in? And you? He hated it when Joss Whedon came and took over his movie. You know what I'm saying? So I don't get it. But you're allowed to go and butt in other people's movies. Oh, because you're the freaking super genius who everything that you touch is golden, right? Like, dude, I told you, I can't stand hypocrisy on any level whatsoever. So like I call out the good, I call out the bad. And that's just some bad stuff there, bruh. My college mentor saved my life, literally. Awesome. You have no idea how annoyed it is, CBU. Oops. I still have to finish revisions and then defend it again. Dude, not cool. Not cool. I simply wouldn't do that. I have my own opinions. I have my own beliefs. I have my own everything. And it doesn't come from just, well, I think that. No, it comes from actually challenging myself. It comes from actually, questioning myself. And that's the thing, man. I think that a college dissertation, I think that, going for your PhD and actually going before a council of reeds, basically a bunch of people who think they're a council of reeds, going up and just being able to say, listen, here's my belief, here's what I stand for, blah, 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 my paper. And they say, okay, well, my belief is so and so and so. So, or I'm going to play devil's advocate. So here, this is what I'm going to argue. I'm going to argue that you're wrong because of this. So defend yourself. Defend yourself against these questions. And if you can aptly defend yourself with your own belief system, and I don't care how many times there's the challenge back and forth. If you can adequately defend yourself, even if somebody else doesn't agree with you, and this is my opinion, if I'm okay with somebody disagreeing with me on something. I'm okay with somebody disagreeing with me on every single thing that I stand for or believe. But if you can't defend yourself, I will call you a blathering idiot. I will call you a moron. I will throw every single pejorative I possibly can at you, and I will do it while laughing and smiling and tickling your mom. You know what I'm saying? Because if you've got a hard stance belief on something, no, blah 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 blah. Well, defend it. Well, I can't. It's just what I believe. Oh shoot. Okay, sorry. I didn't realize that you were a freaking idiot. My bad. Yeah, I don't play pussyfoot with people's emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, that's not entirely true. I will, depending on the age of the individual, like if it's a kid, if it's like somebody who's 25 or younger, dude, all the excuses in the world, we're cool. We're cool. I get it. You know what I'm saying? You got all these different things you need to prove, all sorts of whatever. But like, bruh, if you're my age, if you're 40 years old, if you're 44 in my case, you know what I'm saying? And you're just, no, I believe in such and such. I case in point, I don't believe that, freaking vaccinations, any vaccination is a good thing. Really? You don't believe that any vaccination is a good thing? Please defend your stance. No, it's just what I believe. I just don't believe. Okay, you're an idiot. I don't want to waste any more of my time with you. Well, you can't just call me an idiot. Actually, I can call you every single name in the book. You are a jackass. You're one of the biggest freaking jackasses who's ever walked the face of the God's green earth because you can't defend yourself. Now, if you believe that, vaccinations are a bad thing and you could come up with proofs, let's have the conversation. Maybe I can change your mind. Maybe you can change mine. That's what has to be on the table. If I can tell that's not on the table with you, you're a jackass. I don't like I've got so many better things in my life to do than to try and convince everybody who doesn't want to do their own research that they're wrong. So that's just not what because and some of that's because maybe I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have the ability to do your own research, bruh, I can't see spending time in trying to educate you. You know what I'm saying? Because then it comes down to, well, explain math. Seriously, that's what it eventually comes down to. Please explain math. I don't want to explain math. This is stuff that you should have learned. If you can't believe that 1 + 1 = 2, maybe you've got bigger problems. That's just my opinion on it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I want to give love to the world, but some people don't deserve it. Some people literally go out of their way to not want it. They go out of their way to vehemently not want it. There is a culture of people out there that I'm discovering as of this week. There's a culture of people who hate people who are educated, even if it's, in my case, mostly self-education. It belies all reason. Because I can understand if you just want to be working class and just, dude, if I can't do it with a shovel, with a pickaxe, with a wrench, with a screwdriver, with a hammer, then I don't care. I get it. I get it. You just want to live your life. But when you come out and you start, like I'm seeing, and it's not just what I'm seeing online, I actually engage with some of these people once in a while. I'm like, dude, you're saying that, not wearing a mask is a good thing, and you're lying about having a medical condition. I don't know personally of any medical condition where you're not allowed to wear a mask. You know what I'm saying? At least not one where you're able to also get up and walk around and go to a grocery store or whatever. So these are people who are just, from the very beginning, they're liars. They're liars. Oh, and I don't have to show you proof for that. Cool. Well, I don't have to let you in the store either. This is a private business, and that's the way it works. And if no shoes, no shirt, no service isn't enough of an understanding for you to realize that no mask, no service, no gloves, no service is right along those lines, you are too stupid to continue having an educated conversation with. Please get away from me. And it goes to show the level of vile in people who are anti-education. Their culture is anti-education because you see these people going out of their way to cough on these people because they don't believe that corona is a real thing. Mind you, let's say coronavirus was fake. I've told the story multiple times how I substitute taught in my own high school one time. I graduated like 15, 20 years ago, whatever, and I had, enough college credits to be a teacher, to be a substitute teacher. And I was a substitute teacher in my school for about a year, and other schools that I didn't go to, but that were nearby because, hey, it was good money. And I sat I was sitting there talking. I was in the teacher's room for history, and I'm talking to one of my old history teachers. He's just like, "Wow, man, I honestly, like, you were so quiet in my class, like all the people who were loud and blah." And there was a guy who died in my class, and we were talking about him. And he's just like, he was like, he was my favorite. So I was like, "Of course he was your favorite. You're such a sports guy. Of course he was your favorite." You know what I'm saying? And like he was big into basketball and everything. So like it was a big deal, and we were just having the conversation. It's like, I'm so glad that you've accomplished all that you've accomplished so far in your life. It's so great to see you doing these things. And like he's talking to me about history teachers. They die at their desk. Saying because it's such an easy job to do. Saying it's like that history for the most part doesn't change. You have your rule book and everything, and just like it is what it is, right? And for the entire time I'm sitting there, we're both turning and looking, and the other teachers in the teachers' lounge are also looking at the teacher who's sitting right across from me, who's coughing in my face the entire time. I don't know what it is, and I was too polite. I was too polite to say, why are you even doing this? As opposed to, could you cover your mouth? What are you doing? Like, what did he? I could think of anything. And like I said, I've said this before. If there was one, a lot of people, Professor Bill, you know what I'm saying? You seem like such a whatever, blah, 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 blah. No, I can be really angry too. I can be genuinely, violently angry. If there is one person who I could actually meet again right now, today, and have 5, 10 minutes alone in a room to do whatever I want with him, it would be that guy. It would be that guy who was coughing on me. I can't, if I describe the things I would like to do to him, you'd probably be freaked out and just leave the channel, which I understand. You don't understand, dude. This guy gave me pneumonia by coughing on me like that. He gave me pneumonia. First time I ever had in my life. I'm the guy who used to go to the gym twice a day. And then 4 days a week, I'd go to teach the martial arts during this exact same time period. You do not understand the level of my physicality at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like the morning workout would be powerlifting. The night exercise would mostly be about calisthenics. Would mostly be about getting my body like actually ripped. You know what I'm saying? Not the strength training was in the morning. The powerlifting that was all in the morning. Night was about getting ripped. It's more about bodybuilding and worrying about my endurance. You know what I'm saying? I cared about my flexibility big time. Dude, I was a machine back in the day, back in 2008. And right around the 2008, 2009 period, when this guy coughed in my face, all those times, like just multiple, and I was too damn polite to even say something. And meanwhile, you got people out there coughing in people's faces, spitting on people, right? This guy coughed in my face, gave me pneumonia, weakened my immune system, put so much scar tissue on my lungs that I've got pneumonia at least 2 more times since. Most people don't survive in general. There are so many people who don't survive the second time they get pneumonia, sometimes even the first, right? I've had it 3 times. And I still exercise, not nearly as much as I used to. I can get out of breath if I'm going at something for too long. You know what I'm saying? Because the scar tissue built up on my lungs now. I've got so much, it's ridiculous. It's genuinely taken away from my standard of living, and I could have freaking died. This guy essentially unwittingly tried to murder him. I would absolutely go at this guy's throat and I would strangle this guy to death, laughing in his face, spitting in his face as I see the lights going out in his eyes. I despise this. I refuse to even see this person as another living human being because he did this to me. This creature did this to me. I would love to murder this person with my bare hands. That's what I want to do to this person because of what he did to me. So I can assure you, if there's some of these disbelievers out there who want to be silly and cough in my face today, I promise you, you will find out that I went to jail because I beat this person into unconsciousness. And until there was enough people grabbing me and pulling me off. So if there's one of those people out there right now who's just like, I don't believe in such and such and such, I'm cool with you not believing in COVID-19. Whatever, it is what it is. But wear a mask anyways because you're in Rome. You're in Rome. And that's what we do. All right. When in Rome, you do as the Romans do because you don't like the idea. And let's be realistic. These are a lot of the exact same people. You don't like the idea when some freaking Muslim, some towel head comes over here and starts, practicing their Muslim beliefs. Damn it. You don't like that. You don't like the idea that my wife will wear hijab. Right. Because you say, oh, no, you got to assimilate. You got to conform. Where is it American that we don't wear masks if there's a pandemic going around? Even if it's a fake pandemic, if there's enough people believe it and you go out of your way to try and troll these people in person, what is the matter with your goddamn brain that you can't simply respect and say, you know what, it's a stupid mask. If you're willing to, I can't find masks, I'm not going to buy a mask. But if you can provide me with a mask, I will wear your stupid mask. All right? And I'll throw it in the garbage as soon as I leave. By all means, do that. But do that. Because if there's somebody who's out there and I see somebody and they go and they cough in my face when I'm out there, where I'll of course be wearing a mask and gloves and all this stuff. If somebody ever coughed in my face, I would beat that person into a bloody, painful, broken-bodied unconsciousness. You can feel free to try and sue me afterwards, because I'm going to claim I temporary insanity, judge, and make no mistake, even though it's so-called premeditated, I promise you it would be a temporary loss of insanity. I would beat that person into bloody, broken unconsciousness. I would pound this person until people pulled me off, and there better be a lot of people pulling me off. So you know what? And then you feel free. You feel free to, well, I'm going to sue you. You won't be alive. You won't be alive. You're going to go out by being pounded. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go out, like what you're going to be crippled, you're going to be what, like this is stupid people who really just don't understand. There's actually problems out there that we're all worried about, but somebody wants to say, I don't believe, and I can't freaking have a counter argument against. So instead, I'm just simply going to go and cough in somebody's face. No, don't let it be me. Don't let it be me. Don't let it be one of mine. Don't let that happen, because, dude, that happens. You'll see part of the conservative nature in me, because I've got some conservative. I got some what do you call it? Some liberal. I've got a whole bunch of different beliefs in my system. The conservatism in me is, if you hurt me or you hurt mine, or I even think that you're trying to, it's off, dude. That's no different than me saying, well, I'm just going to get my gun. And I don't carry a gun on me when we don't have open carry out here. I don't have a gun out here. Because if I was in Texas, if I was in Arizona, you do something like that, I'd shoot you right between the eyes. Make no mistake. I would put a bullet right between your eyes. You know what I'm saying? And let's be realistic. The same people who would do something like that, who would cough in somebody's face, are the same people who would say the exact same thing. Hey, live by the sword, baby. You live by the sword. There are people who really just don't get it. And these are the people, they're not worth your time. They're not worth their lives, in my opinion. Psh, done. So, curious to see what the comments have to say right now. Professor Bill just went really off the freaking rails. Sexualized. Oh, Yeto went there. Oh, hey, what's going on, Clark? Indeed, just about everyone is. See, that's why I mute my coughs in the podcast. I'm not going to go after you in the freaking podcast, dude. So violent. Hell's yes, so violent. So violent. Even Trump calls it the freaking hidden enemy. He calls it the invisible enemy. Say what? You can see my fists, but I can't see your freaking disease. But I wasn't able to see that pneumonia either. I know what pneumonia did to me. I know what pneumonia did to me. And COVID-19 specifically attacks the lungs? Nah, dude. If I'm scheduled to die in another week or two because you coughed on me, because you probably have corona, or you're going to make me think. That's the thing. If I pull a gun on you, but it's actually a squirt gun, I could still go to jail, because that's a threat. That's an intimidation. You know what I'm saying? If you can't tell, if I take the red cap off and everything like that, and I act like it's a real gun, and I pointed at you, I can still go to jail for threatening you, for you being threatened. You know what I'm saying? It's just a squirt gun. There's not even any water in it. Yeah, but everybody out there believed that it was real, so you go to jail for it. So if you cough on me, and you're obviously intending, and let's be realistic, coughing and spitting. If you spit on someone, that's a 4th-degree misdemeanor. It's not a felony, but it's a misdemeanor. But it's still a 4th-degree assault. It still counts as an assault. That's right. There's 1st-degree, 2nd-degree assault. There's 3rd-degree assault. Then we get into the non-felony stuff. We're talking about assault. If you spit on someone, because what benefit is there to spitting on someone? You could say that you shoved someone or even hit someone to get them off of you, right? There are excuses for greater crimes. This person grappled me. He wouldn't let me go. I had to punch him to get him off of me. You can get away with that. You can never get away with spitting on someone. Ask Axl Rose. You can never get away with spitting on someone, because that is assault, and there is no judge is going to look at this and say, well, I guess, he thought you were on fire. Nah, that's simply not going to happen. That doesn't happen. That's not what happens. So, yeah. So somebody goes and starts doing something like that, you know exactly what you're trying to do. You're trying to make me believe that you have COVID. You're trying to, nah, dude, you know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. You don't get to choose how someone responds to you. You get to choose how you act towards someone, but you never get to choose how someone responds to you. And suing someone after the fact, that's cute. That's always cute. But that's something that most people need to remember. If somebody turns around and attacks you for whatever, bruh, you don't get to choose. You could try and sue someone after the fact if you're still alive. If you haven't been beaten into unconsciousness or given a concussion, a permanent concussion, like let's just be realistic, dude. You don't get to choose how someone reacts to you. So always consider that in mind when you're going about your day. Think he's going off on another one. I might be. Chili Man. Professor, did you read the new Clone Wars comic that came out this week? No, I didn't even realize that a new Clone Wars came out this week. Crap. That's the thing. I always look on Comixology and I see a whole list of, mostly old stuff that came out mixed in with the new stuff that came out. So no, I think that one just slipped right by me. Is it an issue number 1? Because I'd probably be interested in seeing that. Would you rather be Thor worthy, Shazam worthy, or one of the Four Horsemen worthy? Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse or Four Horsemen of Apocalypse specifically? Or are we talking about the NWO? WCCW, baby. I don't know. Shazam doesn't give actual wisdom. It just gives you an eidetic memory. Probably Thor wisdom. Probably Thor worthy, personally. Probably Thor worthy. Paul Feig says that 3-hour cut of Ghostbusters. Yeah, comedy. No, I'm so done with Paul Feig. Comic Book University After Dark. Bill, can you say hi to Henry, Memphis, and Bristol? You still had these guys on while I just went into that rant? Dude. Hi, Henry. Hi, Memphis. Hi, Bristol. Be good. Jeez. There's a reason why I do this after 8 o'clock, man. Let's see. I thought I was talking about Apocalypse. Oh, okay, cool. Apocalypse Horseman. Yeah, I was thinking like Book of Revelation worthy. I don't think that's the kind of worthy I really want to be. Although it has been speculated that the second horseman, the red horseman, the horseman on the red horse, is actually Jesus. It's been speculated that that was the case, but again, whatever. Thought Marvel Comics were supposed to come back this week. This week, coming out. This week is the physical comics are supposed to come back. Horseman of War, though. Oh, see, boom, Horseman of War. I think Yeto knows what I'm talking about. Professor, yes, the Clone Wars comic is an issue number 1. It's IDW, but yeah, it's still obviously the Marvel thing. You know what? Maybe I'll check it out. Maybe I'll check that out. That could be fun. Horseman of Pestilence seems to get the short end of the stick. Lorna Dane was covered in sores and stuff when she was Apocalypse's Horseman of Pestilence. Darkseid and Trigon versus Thanos and Apocalypse. Oh, no, dude. Darkseid and Trigon are taking that one. They're taking that W. They're more violent than your rant. That's great. When I see Carl Weathers in Mandalorian, I still think of him as in Arrested Development. I didn't realize he was in Arrested Development. I never watched that show. I don't think. No, wait. Arrested Development. Was that the one? I don't think I watched that. Too many TV shows, and I just don't watch enough TV. Expected him to throw Yiddle in a pot and get himself a stew going. How rude. And I still have my Yiddle here. He's just like, oh, chicky nuggets, onion soup. Oh, man. All right. Yeah, I'm trying to clear off my table. I was hoping to get more stuff off. I'm just going to have to find another home for some of these things, other things that I have to open, because I have a lot of things I still have to open. That's why I opened so many of the things today. But yeah, I want to start doing my stop motion stuff pretty soon. I want to just start doing some regular writing. I want to just start whatever, man. I want to start doing whatever, man. I want Flash Thompson to come back as Anti-Venom already. Yeah. Agent Anti-Venom, specifically. Yep, he was an acting coach. Oh, was he? Okay, sweet. Sweet. I like Carl Weathers, man. If you guys saw the most recent Disney Plus Star Wars Gallery, it was episode 3 at least. I don't know if episode 4 came out yet, but episode 3 actually had Carl Weathers there and a bunch of the other actors, including Gina Carano. She was there, and like everybody was praising her. And of course, she got embarrassed by it, so she threw it to Carl Weathers and started praising him. And I'm just like, see, that's class right there. That's class. And he's just like, oh, but Carl Weathers. And you know what my major takeaway from that episode was? That we always talk about how Jean-Luc Picard, what's his real name? Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart has a great narrator's voice. Morgan Freeman probably has the greatest narrator's voice. Denzel Washington has a great narrator's voice. James Earl Jones has an amazing narrator's voice, right? A whole bunch of people have great narrator's voices. I think Carl Weathers, he'd do really good with a narrator's voice also. So hey, let's get some more voice acting gigs for this guy, right? Yeah, man, he's just got one of those voices where it's like I could listen to this dude. Bow. Hey, Ramadan Mubarak for anyone out there. Hey, Adnan Kabir, right back at you, bruh. Oh no, now it's Eid Mubarak. Yeah, now it's Eid Mubarak. Technically, today is Eid Mubarak. Also, depending on where you are, maybe you, yeah. Anyway, Walter White versus MacGyver. I'm gonna have to go with MacGyver. Has anybody seen Walter White do anything with bird poop? That's like the ultimate thing because bird poop is everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Bird poop is everywhere. I remember when I was younger. Here's a story from my past. I remember when I was younger, I always wanted an electronics kit. And my father never bought me an electronics kit. He thought it was just going to be a waste. Little did he realize I was going to grow up to be an engineer for about 8, 9 years of my life. So he never bought me that. But was it my mom? I forget. I think it was for my 13th birthday. I was living with my mom at this point. My 13th birthday, so I came back to New Jersey. And somebody, maybe it was her, maybe it was somebody else, bought me a science kit. Some people are so dumb. They bought me a science kit. I make no joke when I said I made gunpowder. I knew the recipe for gunpowder. I saw all these other recipes in here. I was like, ooh, stuff for a volcano. That's cute. Nah, who cares? Like, who cares about this stuff? You know what I'm saying? I used to make the little pranks. I used to see the volcano stuff. I'm like, okay, cool, man. Let me get the stuff, and I'll actually separate the stuff with a very thin layer of plastic bag. So any kind of disruption, any real disruption, and it'll go off. So there's a lot of people that have the whole the dog poop in front of the house. I, of course, did that because I was a bad, stupid, dumb little kid who probably should have been hit more often when I was younger. But hey, maybe it's because I got hit so often that I did stuff like that. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know. But I used to do the dog poop thing. But another trick that I did once, and only once because it was hard to do, was to actually get the stuff ready for, like nowadays you just use Pepsi and a Mento. But no, back in the day, they actually had the whole thing. I forget exactly what it was. Was it vinegar and something? Anyway, where you'd make the actual volcano, you'd mix these two ingredients, and suddenly you get the overload of lava. Anyway, so I did that, and I set it up really nice, and I set the thing on fire, ring the doorbell, and ran away. Whole bunch of friends, looking and whatnot. The guy comes down and she's like, ah, and steps on it. And it's like, even if he didn't step on it, I'd imagine it would go off. Just the lava stuff goes everywhere. It didn't mean anything. I didn't put ink in there or anything. I didn't permanently stain his front yard, or not his front yard, his porch, his concrete porch. So it didn't do anything, but he probably appreciated that more than the dog poop, you know what I'm saying? But like, happened. Yeah, I used to do stuff like that. But I also made gunpowder. I was young and extremely stupid, way too smart for my maturity level, for my emotional maturity level. I was way too smart. And I actually went around and I got bird poop. Dude, you have no idea. And again, I'm somebody who I just never had. Maybe it's like a mental stunt, a mental stint that I just don't get embarrassed. Nothing really makes me embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? I never feel shame for the most part, like, at anything. I understand the rules. Everybody's supposed to follow, but I usually like somebody be like, oh, somebody went and pulled down my shorts and in school one time. I was new to a school, and somebody came up behind me and pulled down my shorts and got such a good grip that they grabbed my tighty whities also in the 80s or early 90s. This was early 90s. We didn't all know that boxers were a better thing for us. So it is what it is. Anyway, so he got such a good grip that he also pulled down my tighty whities. So I'm standing there with a track t-shirt on, it looks like a wife beater, but with the lines on the side. and everything hanging out. And I looked down and I looked up and everybody's like they thought I was going to be embarrassed or something like that, like I'm naked. I don't have anything to be embarrassed about. I just started walking around. I was like, and I was walking like a penguin because like the shorts only let you walk but so far. But I'm just like that. And like the gym teacher, Miss Bradley, she's screaming, "Pull up your pants!" I'm like, why are you mad at me? I'm not the one who pulled them down. How about the guy who pulled down my pants? How about he goes and pulls my pants up? How about that? Hey, bud, you pulled my pants down. Why don't you come over here and fix this? I'll face you this time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I just, pull up your pants. I'm like, oh, pull up my pants. I'll pull up my shorts. Technically, they're shorts. Yeah, just like I don't care. Like I don't care. By the way, my dating record increased a lot. It is what it is, man. Um, what do you call it? So anyway, yeah, just way too young, way too stupid to really get how stupid the stunt was. I go and I take gunpowder. I'm walking around town just with a brown paper bag and a glove. You know what I'm saying? Like a mitten. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have like those cool plastic, colonoscopy gloves. I had a regular, like not a mitten, but like one of those knit gloves. I had a knit glove that was supposed to keep me warm and stuff like that. A stupid knit glove because that was the closest I had, and I was going around pulling bird poop off of trees and putting it in. And I'm walking around town, and everybody's looking at me like, "What the heck is this guy doing?" Adults are, coming up. What are you doing? And I'm just like, "I'm getting bird poop." What are you doing that for? I was like, I don't know. I've explained this a lot. Just, I'm getting bird poop. What's the problem? I'm helping to clean up the environment. That's all. It's like, yeah, adult looking at me really weird. That's cool. Every time that you shook your head and looked at me really weird, you went up on my list of who I'm going to use the gunpowder on. Think about that, people. Think about that. So anyway, I was a bad kid. So I was grabbing all this bird poop because the charcoal is easy to come by. You know what I'm saying? The freaking, I don't think I want to give the whole recipe. It's easy enough to look it up though. Anyway, so I made gunpowder. I made a whole brown paper bag worth of gunpowder. I got the mortar and pestle makeshift and I ground it all up and stuff like, and I put it together. And yeah, the thing could have blown up in my face and freaking scarred me for life. Maybe it did. Anyway, I put it in a brown paper bag. I twisted it up really good, and me and a bunch of friends we got together, and I was just like, "Who wants to light it?" Like, I'll light it. It's just my buddy Brian goes up and he lights the damn thing. We get back and we just see like that. No fireworks, no explosion, just a really quick burn, like where you couldn't find a piece of the bag left. I'm just like, well, that was anticlimactic. Maybe we should have done something like, I wonder, like, are you supposed to actually like smash it? And we started, trying to think like, how do you actually make a bullet then? Fortunately, and literally, I'm the guy who's sitting there thinking, how would I make a bullet? And I didn't get the idea of the hammer and or the what do you call it, the forge and all this stuff. I was just thinking a anvil and a blacksmith. So aside from making weapons by actually taking pieces of metal and folding them over with pliers and then hammering it out with a big freaking sledgehammer, a hand sledgehammer, not a double-handed sledgehammer, and then trying to make swords like, and I was like, how do they do this stuff? And I never actually conceptualized the idea of actually putting in a forge, because could you imagine me trying to heat up stuff? I don't even know what you would put inside a forge. Is it just hot water? I don't know. But like, oh my God, I can't imagine myself trying to like, just get the rail and putting it in the fire and trying to do stuff like that, because I would. I honestly would. If I would have thought of that stuff when I was younger, I was that stupid. Like I said, too smart for my own good. I definitely would have done that. We used to fight with the swords and all that stuff. I remember my shop teacher saying, "Hey man, you're gonna wind up losing an eye." There was a student here one time who they were fighting with a screwdriver, and screwdriver went right through his eye into his brain and killed him. Like, oh, so it was a quick death. Cool. It's the painful death that bothered me. You know what I'm saying? Quick death, you don't feel anything. And we're still fighting. I remember I had a shop teacher who got so mad at me because I didn't like my birdhouse that I was making. We're all making birdhouses. I was like, "This is stupid." And he wouldn't give me any help. He's like, "You got to figure it out for yourself." It's like, "I'll figure it out. I'll make it so that birds can get to it anywhere." And I just started hammering nails into it all over the place. And he got really, he's just like, "What is this?" And he just took it and he like slammed it on the ground and like stormed away. I guess I could have told on him and gotten him in trouble because that's technically like a shrapnel bomb that he just made. There were nails all over this thing and he slammed it on the ground and shattered everywhere. It's like, dude, you need to worry about your freaking, your emotional intelligence. You just freaked out on me and slammed this thing. You're supposed to be the teacher. You're the role model. Shop classes were actually there was a new shop teacher the next year. It was a chick and she wasn't that good. She was more about let's make aerodynamic stuff. Like, can we use the wood saw? No, we're not allowed to use the band saw and stuff like that anymore. It's like I just used it last year in the 7th grade. I can't use it now in the 8th grade. No, we're gonna do stuff on aerodynamics. Like this isn't shop class. This isn't shop class. So whatever, it is what it is. I guess, as the 80s were rolling on, we were trying to get more safe for once. Anybody who's about my age, the 80s were probably the least safe time in all the history of freaking creation. Aye. So a jungle has more to work with, especially when you're dealing with really agile and maneuverable alien. Is this a Predator comment now? I got my Predator figure up here. I just knock over half my Star Wars stuff. He's fighting Jango Fett. That's why I'd knock over half my stuff if I did that. Understand. I agree. Blah, 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 blah. Walter White did nothing with bird poop, but he did make poison out of beans. He did make poison out of beans, which is pretty impressive. I don't know, though. I'm going to have to go with the bird poop. Professor Bill Poole's face. Thinking about the stuff you've told us about yourself. Where are the bodies buried? Well, dude, I have had a very full life. I've had a very full life. Saying I'm not upset at my goofy life at all. Vinegar and baking soda. There we go. I was like, I know it's vinegar. What's the other thing? Baking soda. Thank you. Thank you very much. Vincent Price's voice. Oh, yes, yes, yeah. Of course, Raven. Good correction on your part for me. Yes, Vincent Price, one of the best voices ever. Like he did Michael Jackson's Thriller. I mean, come on. Defend yourself better on a ship. Wait, there's a ship? I did mention Morgan Freeman. He was the second voice that I mentioned. Poopy made poison out of a spaceship. In the jungle with the predator, on a spaceship with the alien. I would be more with the alien. Alien sounds singular, so I'm assuming you mean the alien queen, who could, of course, make more aliens. See, there's not so many places you can run. The thing is, in the jungle, like the jungle is a very hostile environment. You know what I'm saying? In theory, I could survive in a jungle because, it's jungle. In theory, I've read about, like, I know how to survive in certain climates, certain environments, but I've never actually practiced to survive in a jungle. So theoretically, I could survive, but I mean, like, there's so much stuff that'll kill you over time. If a jaguar doesn't get you, you know what I'm saying? Or one of the spiders or scorpions or venomous snakes, or just, all-consuming snakes, a freaking anaconda or a rock python doesn't come and just swallow you whole. Like, dude, what? Um, there's a lot of things that'll kill you out there. The leeches, saying the water, that bug where if you pee in the water, it goes up your penis. Dude, no. Like, I think I would rather deal with a face hugger than a bug that goes up your penis. You know what? Done. I'm okay with dying in space with a whole bunch of freaking aliens, but a bug that crawls up my penis just because I had to pee, that ain't cool. Nope, I'm good with it. Face hug me all you want. Free hugs. But no, I ain't dealing with the other side. The jungle thing, that just ain't happening, brah. And you know what? If you disagree with me in the comments, please add this to the comments. I want to know. It's like, who would prefer a face hugger over a penis crawling freaking parasite? Go ahead. G.I. Joe #6 comes out this week. I'm debating whether or not to get it. I think I fell off after issue 2, maybe 3. I just really didn't like it. I actually have a WCW Raven. Ooh, what about me? What about the Raven? Action figure in this package. Jungles have large spiders. No thanks. Right? I don't think it's a bug. I think it's a fish parasite. Yeah, exactly. Boba Fett versus Xenomorph versus Predator versus Terminator versus RoboCop. Well, technically, RoboCop is the good guy in this. So I'm imagining he wins. All of those people have died at some point or another. So even though they're bringing back Boba Fett, it's technically a retcon. Retcons don't count. RoboCop is the only one who has come back for multiple features and a reboot. Right? Have we ever gotten the same Predator twice in a movie? I don't think so. So I'm going to go with RoboCop. Although, believe me, I'd much rather go with a freaking Terminator. Can we have neither? I want to face a predator in the Aussie jungle. You know, Raven, I believe you. I believe that you would be okay with fighting a predator in an Aussie jungle. My God, man. Because you would know all the freaking things to avoid, all the things to avoid doing. Meanwhile, the predator would be like, what is this spider crawling on? Ow! Ow, you mother fathead! And that noise that he makes, the clicking noise that he makes. Ow! Oh, it's going numb. Oh, it's going numb. Oh, dude, that's my jerking hand. Oh, that's not cool, man. Oh, no. I can't feel my arm. Ow! Just, yeah. I can imagine something like that happening. I could 100% imagine something like that happen. Like Raven just wins by default. You never find the predator. You never actually find the predator to kill him. He winds up killing himself. He's like, the bug killed me. I'm going to get the bug back. You know, yeah, that stuff. Because I'm going to get that bug. I'm going to get that bug for biting me, damn it. I could see that happening. Man, oh man. So yeah. Let's see. Terminator versus Robocop, MK11 Aftermath. Mortal Kombat 11 and Aftermath. Oh, hey, there you go. We need a comic book university subreddit. Hey, by all means, feel free to make one. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who would love to bash me on there. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with seeing the haters. You think people are naturally good or evil? Who asked that? Mark Guerrero. Damn. Despite all the cool, versus battles that you have, that's actually a really good, solid question. Because that's a question I genuinely debate with myself. Good or evil? It's like a light switch effect, right? It's like a light switch. So it's an extreme. We're talking about extremes here. We're not talking about dimmer switches, right? So there's like no shades of gray, just good or evil. If we had to go when those were the only two choices, and I hate the idea of ultimatum choices. You know what I'm saying? I hate the idea of extremist choices. But we could also go with the idea of law and chaos, which is why for that I can accept it. So chaos, entropy it's the natural state of things, that everything wants to eventually go into chaos. If you leave a room unchecked, entropy will take place. Dust will form in there. Things will get, dry rot, worms, saying all sorts of things like that will happen, right? And but if you have a person in there who's willing to clean, then the place could technically last forever, right? So it feels like that's a balance. But what if you have a person in there who's not willing to clean, who's willing to make things worse? Beer cans all over the place, canned food stains all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Peeing wherever. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not civilized enough to use the damn toilet. Then they're only adding to the chaos. I think that there's enough people in the world, myself included, I want to include myself in this, who would rather try and spread love, who'd rather try and spread peace, who'd try and spread understanding and actually sharing knowledge back and forth, being willing to say, I'm wrong when you're wrong, being willing to back down from a fight because there's just no need for it. And that's physical, verbal, whatever, not bully people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe that there's enough of us like that. The problem is, I know that I've been infected by cynicism by the people who believe other than that. There are people who are extremely selfish in this world. There are people who actually smile when they hurt someone else. Like, I've hurt people quite by accident, not meaning to do it. But I've seen people hurt other people with a smile on their face, a sick, sardonic look of pure glee that they hurt someone, that they caused someone pain. And these are people I don't believe deserve to exist in this world. It's just not worth it. Maybe we've all seen a movie And I've never seen this in real life. I'm just talking about a movie in this particular case. But I think we've all seen that movie where the guy is not such a good guy, and he does the best he can in life to try and be a good person. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually some guy who hasn't gone through, what he's gone through, sees him as just like, oh, and then kills him. It's like this person has gone through so much in his life to try and be a better person, to actually make the world a better place. And this person who's like, what, through a gang initiation or something like that, decides to just off this dude almost randomly, or maybe a drunk driver, because this person and drunk driving to me is evil. It's evil because it's about as selfish gets. You know what kind of person you are. You know what kind of drunk you are, right? If you're drunk, you know what kind of drunk you are. If you drink, you don't have to be an alcoholic. If you drink, everybody who drinks knows what kind of drunk they are. And when you put yourself in the kind of situation, like if you're a drunk who's willing to drink and drive, maybe you should stay at home when you drink. Invite people over when you drink. Something like that. Be willing to crash at somebody's house when you drink. But if somebody's, no, I'm okay to drive home. You've already made the decision to drink. Maybe you weren't in charge of your faculties to drive home, but you were in charge of your faculties at some point when you chose to drink. So drunk driving to me, especially if you hurt someone, this is classified as evil to me because you screwed up. You took somebody's life, or in some ways even worse, you took someone's freedom of mobility. Maybe you put them in a persistent vegetative state. Maybe you broke their legs. They've got to go through a trial that they should never have had to go through if it wasn't for your pure, unadulterated selfishness. You get it? So I think that there's enough bad people out there, evil people, who take pleasure in hurting others. Whether you're an online troll or some other form of a bully, or you're physical bully, you like to intimidate people because of your size or because you've got a gun. You know what I'm saying? There are people like that. And these are the kind of people that make people like me who would rather love and put good things out in the world and try and make the world a better place. Instead, I'm stuck trying to heal other people or heal myself or just not strangulate you. You know what I'm saying? Like that guy who gave me pneumonia, for the first time in my life. Yeah, man. I think that there are enough evil people in the world that it makes it better. So I I think that there's more. I think that there's more good people because you never hear about the good. That's not sensationalized. You can't put that in the news. You know what I'm saying? Listen, look at in general. Look at comic skaters. Comic skaters don't usually talk about the good books that they like. They talk about the books that they hate. You know what I'm saying? They hate read all these books, and they take pleasure in it because they can monetize something like that. You know what I'm saying? Keep talking about the books that you like. You're gonna get low views like me. But you keep on talking about the books that you don't like and making fun of them and ripping them and doing stuff like that. Oh, there we go. How can that not be seen as a form of evil? And that's where I come from on maybe that's my best description of my modern belief on Comicsgate. You know what I'm saying? I see it as more evil than good. I don't see the good in this. Whether you say, oh, our intentions, no. Nobody cares about your bullshit intentions because everybody can say that their intentions are good. You can't judge a person by their intentions. You can't. There's no court out there that can legally try you by your intentions. They can only try you by your actions. You're smart enough to understand that. You're smart enough to understand that you're actually putting out more negativity in the world than positivity. And that's the big defining factor. That's the big reason why some people just really aren't going to get it, because in their hearts they're evil, right? And maybe evil is taking it too far. Cool, but that's the terms that were given to me, good or evil. I'm going with that. Boom. Let's see some of the stuff that was said. I like this. Hey, my philosophy. Ewan W. Hi, Professor. Hope you're well. Chad is too. Been a while since I stopped by and changed my name again from Comics League 20. Stay safe, everyone. Hey, you too, Ewan. Speaking of comic books today, I was reading New Men. Excuse me, from Liefeld. in the Image Extreme imprint days. It's definitely an X-Men ripoff, but awesome. Everything's a ripoff of something else. You know what I'm saying? Everything is. Good and Evil is more of a case-by-case review. Not exactly. There isn't really any general convention to how people turn out. Hey, hey, what's up, Suan? Let's see. I will have penicillin growing eventually. ICT Vinny. Reggie Simmons, what's up, Reggie Simmons? Ba, 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 ba. Backing down from a fight is not in some people's DNA. Agreed. Agreed. But at the same time, that also goes back to because it was always hard for me to do that too. It took me forever to understand what it means to be a bigger man. You know what I'm saying? Even if you know that you're going to get yourself beaten up by a guy who's much bigger than you, some people just don't have it within them to back down from a fight. I would rather get beaten up by this guy who is clearly going to beat me up than to back down from a fight. No, I've backed down from a fight before. I've actually backed down from 2 fights in my entire life. No, actually 3. I'm going to say 3 because there was a guy who I was ready to pummel, and I walked away from him. 2 fights I backed away though because well, one was from a guy who I knew I didn't want to ruin this relationship with his sister. Let it go. So I chose not to fight him. But there was one time I actually backed off from a guy who was just so much bigger than me. That even with my 2 friends there, I knew that this was not going to go well. This dude was on a roid rage. There was no way that 3 of us were going to beat this guy. There was no way. So I backed down from the fight. I knew these guys won. So I did. I was like, oh, nope, nope, don't want to fight you. Nope, 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 that's not me. Nope, nope. So yeah, I backed down from a fight out of pure cowardice. Sure, self-preservation. Sure, I've done that before. I've done that once before. I am not too terribly ashamed to admit that. Anyway, some fights you just can't win. You got to be smart enough to understand you can't win all fights. Anyway, but yeah, some people aren't hardwired for that, but you can learn. You really can, because if I can, and I believe that if I can, anybody can. But hey, who am I? Um, yeah, sometimes you gotta back down from a fight. Sometimes it's just the better thing. You know what I'm saying? Plus, in realistic, when you look at it today, I don't know about in America today or which part of America, wherever, but I know that here in Toronto, you have to back down from a fight. You have to, because here nobody actually wants to get into a physical fight. I feel like I'm the only one. You know what I'm saying? Like if you come up and you start screaming in my face, like, yeah, come on, bring it. Come on, tough guy. Were you a tough guy? Hit me then, punk. Back in the day, you do that, you can hit someone, you'll actually trade blows, you'll actually get into a fight. You know what I'm saying? This way, nobody's at fault. It doesn't matter who hit first. Just, you're both screwed up. You're both wrong. No, it's like they're hoping that you're going to hit them so they could say, oh, that's it. I'm calling the cops on you. Whatever you do. And they really don't realize that there are people out there who don't only hit once. But anyway, that exists. So, but today, like you got to back down from fights. You got to, or cause somebody else to back down from a fight. But even then, if you cause someone else to back down from a fight here in this area of Canada that I'm in, they still go to security. They still go to the police. They still go to their mommy. Help me! This person was willing to fight me when I tried to fight him. He actually stood up to me. Go arrest him. That has happened to me so many times. I've never been arrested. But man, that has happened to me so many times here where somebody starts in trash. Sometimes I don't even have to stand up, but you stand up to them and just, right away. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Video camera, hand shaking. Like, you coward. You pure, unadulterated coward. Saying, I'm calling the cops. Somebody call the cops. Call the cops right now. Stop yelling at that person. You tried to yell at me, and look what happened to you, you miserable little punk. Stop yelling at this person before this person goes and beats you up also. Unbelievable. Like, you got to back down from fights up here because they're just trying to get you to go to jail. Boom, 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 boom. That's not social distancing, though. Suan's got the hugging room going. What is this? Bullies make me value you, my friend, since we were 3. Even more because he is a boxer. And remember back in middle school, some kid was picking us for liking Star Wars, and he just socked him. Comic Universal, who are you talking to? Me or somebody else? I don't think I've ever been in a school long. I've moved so many times in life. I don't think that could be me. Um, Superman wins the Sweetest Hero Award. Hey, well, when you don't have to be afraid of bullies, yeah, that certainly makes it easier to be a nice guy, right? Or at least it should. Superman has a bit of darkness and angst to him, though. Oh, he's been hanging out with Batman too much. Bullies making me value my friend. Oh, make me value my friends since we were there. Okay, there we go. Boom. Hey, Yeto, beneath the surface. That G.I. Joe writer who kicked out because of his 911 statements was a jerk. Which one was that? Was that Batter Bailey? Was that Aubrey Sitterson somebody was talking about? I'm actually buds with Aubrey on Facebook, and I understood his. If it was him you're talking about, I understood where he was coming from. He wasn't trying to insult first responders or anything like that. If that's the guy you're talking about, I don't know. Maybe remind me of exactly what was said. Have you ever had a fight with a blind man? No, I have not. Uh, Sometimes you don't know who your opponent knows either. Yeah, right. But you can win but lose later. It's happened to me. Oof, Sergio. Here in Vancouver is different. Fights happen and people film it for fun. Yeah, right. In Vancouver, it's different. Well, I'd imagine it's probably different out there. In the city, like people don't know how to fight anymore. Oh, it was Aubrey Sitterson. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what that comment was. Maybe one of these days I'll ask him. Um, Thoughts on Deconic series? I stopped reading it, Comic Universal. It just got kind of boring for me. So let me. Oh, I can't. Damn it. Let's see. Aubrey Sitter Sun 911 comment. Oh boy, it's a bounding into comics thing. Sure, let's look at bounding into comics and see what they've got to say about it. What was the tweet? Just what was the freaking tweet? They got all this garbage up here because they, of course, report on. This is a garbage site that likes to report on tweets. Oh, good. It's self-centered national tragedy remembrance from people who weren't even anywhere near New York City Day. I don't know what else was said about it afterwards. Um, can anybody not see where he was going with this? I don't know. If you really hate that he said that, cool. You hate what he said. You're entitled to believe that, that was a dumb thing to say, blah blah blah, whatever. Cool. But at the same time, like I actually saw the tragedy, saying from where I was going to work that day. I was a little late. Hence I was supposed to be there at 9. I was a little late, but also as an engineer, you're allowed to be there whenever. And since I left work late the day before, whatever it is, what it is. So Tuesday morning, I'm driving to work and I'm hearing people talk about stuff, but I don't understand what they're saying because, of course, the first, part that you're going to understand is disbelief. I'm just like, wait, what? It's like, are they saying that the World Trade Center was attacked? Is this a joke? Is this like, a War of the Worlds radio broadcast? What's going on here? And I'm like, I'm going to be able to see the World Trade Center in a little bit. And I'm like, once I get to this bridge, I'll be able to see it. The what do you call it? The Driscoll Bridge. You'll be able to see it. So I'm going over the bridge, and sure enough, I see the smoke. Like I couldn't see the towers themselves, I couldn't see the fire itself, but I saw the smoke. And you could tell when something is a fire smoke or just clouds or industrialization. There's not that much industrialization in the city itself. It's usually outside the city or, whatever. And I saw the smoke of it. I'm just like, holy crap. And I remember like I hadn't listened to Howard Stern in years, but I switched back to listen to Stern and I switched all over the channels because I had an hour and a half commute to get to where I was going, you know what I'm saying? To get to work. And I'm just like, holy crap. I'm like, should I just skip work and drive into the city? No, I'll never get out. I don't need to see it then. I'll see it on TV. So I figured I'll just get to work and I'll see it. And I did. I got to work and everybody, that's all that, no work was done that day. And in fact, I actually wound up leaving work about 2.5 hours later. I left work 2.5 hours later because I was just like, yeah, I told, everybody who was there, I was like, I'm not in the mood to work today. I'm just going to go home. We were salary, so whatever. And he was like, yeah, honestly, I'm feeling the exact same way. I think that most of us are just going to call it a day today. I just remember I was the first person to say it, at least. I don't know if anybody else snuck out before me. But yeah, man, and we usually have fun. It's an engineering job. We always had fun. We'd bring in our blow guns and, our blow dart guns and like, have challenges with each other and, stuff like that. And mine actually had the little rabbit stunners. If you have like a squirrel or a rabbit, you could, I've never actually done it to one, but you like that, and it would shoot this little plastic piece that if you hit a rabbit in the head or something like that, it would stun it, and saying stuff like, so we would, shoot at people's butts like that. And we would always have fun and stuff like that. And this was just a really dark and dreary ass day at Side Chip in that particular moment. And yeah, so I went home and it was a lot quicker ride home than it was to. But yeah, man, the only channel that was functioning that day was channel 2. Like where I was, I don't know about the rest of the country, but where I was in New Jersey, channel 2 was the only channel that was working because that was the one, we used antenna instead of regular cable. So I don't know how regular cable was, but most of the antenna broadcasts were coming out of the World Trade Center. But the channel 2, CBS channel 2 news was coming out of the Empire State Building. So it was still fuzzy and crackly, because it didn't have the signal boost of the World Trade Center, but I could still at least see the news, you know? So my wife and I and my 1-month-old daughter, we were sitting there watching the news the whole day, like, oh my God, what's going on? I finally said, let's walk over to Blockbuster Video. Huge shout out to Sid Masker, who just went to visit the last Blockbuster. You know what I'm saying? That was all of this was a big deal. I saw this stuff. Like, we lived right there in Jersey. It was, what was it? I get out in February of 99 is when my last year of active duty service was. And I signed up for 6, so I had 2 years left. So that means that February of 2000 and 99, 2000, 2001. February of 2001. Yeah, February of 2001 would have been the last month that they could have called me up to forced me to come back. Because after you leave, you always sign up for 8, whether you like it or not. So if you say, I want to do 2 years of active duty, there's still going to be 6 years after that they can call you up against your will, whatever, and you come back to the military service, So February of 2001 would have been it for me. This happened in September of 2001. So February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So 7 months later. So they couldn't force me to sign back up. But literally, it was only me looking at my 1-month-old daughter that made me say, I'm not going to sign up again for active duty. I was willing to leave my job. I had a good job. It was probably the best job that I ever had, was working at Sidechip. You're saying I was making good money. I loved what I was doing until they started getting military contracts. But I loved what I was doing, and I just loved it. I loved it. And I was willing to leave that job so that I could join up for active duty again because, yeah, I was not right there, but I was close enough. And it did affect me, and it affected a lot of Americans. It did. The trick is that there's a bunch of people who just, 9/11, and there are people who are whining and such like that. So, yeah, I believe that Aubrey's citizen's comment was in poor taste. I do believe that, it was insensitive to people like me, or people who actually knew people who died, saying, or the people who actually did die. I think that what he was saying, I honestly think that he was probably in some ways making fun of me also in some ways. But well, I wasn't saying anything, so he definitely wasn't making fun of me. But I think that for him, I think it was more of the idea of, if you didn't know somebody who personally, like a family member or whatever, who lost their lives in the World Trade Center, what I'm saying, then I'm so tired of hearing people, talk about, oh, this was the worst event that ever happened in our nation. I guess modern day. I mean, there's also Pearl Harbor. You know what I'm saying? But that was a military attack. This was a surprise military attack. This was an attack on civilians. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm not I don't know if anybody can be an expert on this, and I don't claim myself to be wise enough or worldly enough or valid enough to even make a comment on it. I literally just look at it as, My opinion is what it is, and my opinion is, yeah, it was a messed up time. I do think that we need to get over it, though. You know what I'm saying? I do think that we really need to get over it, considering that this attack came from Saudi Arabia. And the last country we were ever going to consider getting into a fisticuff with was Saudi Arabia. Not because we're afraid of them, because we wanted their money. And we still to this day get their money. And they attacked us. They attacked a Marine barracks in, what was it, 71? You know what I'm saying? And multiple times they've attacked us. And it was government sanctioned just to keep us on our toes, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Their little attacks and whatnot. And then 9/11 was not a little attack. So why didn't we go after them? Why did we go after Afghanistan instead? Why did we go after Afghanistan after they just got finished dealing with 10 years of occupation by the Russians, by the Soviet Union, right? After they just got finished dealing with all that, now we go and we start putting our boots on the ground over there. And Iraq, that made zero sense. And everything else that we did, ramping up our war, making wars all over the place. Before 9/11, we lived in a time where there were no wars or occupations going on in America. None. None. And now look at us today. We are far worse off for that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm more bothered by the idea that we didn't go directly after Saudi Arabia and say, you know what? We can still do business, but you have to make that decision after this. After what? What do you mean we just lost Abha? Yeah, Abha is a military city. Abha is a military city. That's where it came from. That's where the all 19 conspirators were there in Abha, a Middle Eastern city in southern East Coast, West Coast, so West Coast, southern. It's south of Jeddah, south of Taif. I've been there. I've been to Abha. It's a military city. I've been to Abha and Khamis Mashat. They're considered the twin cities or the sister cities in Saudi Arabia. And Habala is there also. Really beautiful place. I've gone into the story before. I'll go into it again one day. But anyway, Abha itself is an actual military city. That's where a great bulk of the military is from. That's where a whole bunch of teachers who I knew were from, although I never taught in there. I just vacationed there the one summer because what else was I going to do? And what do you call it? Yeah, it's a huge military city. And that's where this happened. Cute, real freaking cute. So I say that we should have gone there. We should attack that military base. Bottom line, that's my opinion on it. That's what we should have done. But no, we didn't. Instead, we went and attacked other places. Why? For what reason? How did that help anything? It helped the war profiteers, right? Anyway, so my opinion is the people who are just, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, dude. If you didn't lose anybody in there, I think that you could, just put out, a simple little something like, oh, hey, remembering 9/11, the people that we lost, whatever. But the people who lived, let's just say the people who lived in California, you know what I'm saying, or freaking Oregon or someplace nowhere near Washington D.C. If you didn't know if you didn't know somebody who knew somebody who was lost, it's like a simple tweet of, hey, remembering 9/11, or like somebody else's tweet who says that. Cool. But this is the day that our nation lost. Beep, 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 beep. Dude, I think that honestly, maybe citizens, tweet, maybe it should have been directed towards the people, maybe it should have been understood where it was actually directed towards. You know what I'm saying? I honestly don't know what somebody could have lost with 9/11. I don't see what anybody could have possibly lost. You know what I'm saying? I personally don't. You want to make a tweet like that? I'll simply ignore it. That's my opinion. I'll ignore it. I don't necessarily disagree with Aubrey's point. I don't think he should have made it. And I think sometimes discretion is the better part of valor, right? For me, I just look at it as, dude, maybe both parties should have just kept their damn mouths shut. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what anybody could have possibly lost. Maybe in the comments below, maybe you're somebody who thinks that you lost something living in freaking East Bumble F someplace, whatever. It just doesn't make any sense to me. What's this thing from, oh, Tony Isabella is seriously pissed over Batman and the Outsiders because Love interest is, you know what? Honestly, as much as I love Tony Isabella for his creativity and whatnot, here's also somebody who needs to maybe just consider calming down a little bit. And maybe he's going to stop following me on Twitter. I don't know. Maybe he won't be my friend anymore on Facebook. I don't know. But I mean, come on, man. Like, ah, when you create a character for another company, here's a guy who's gotten screwed out of his character and the money that he should have gotten, like from Hanna-Barbera specifically. And the dude's 100% right in this. But like at some point, yeah, sometimes we all do need to just stop complaining about some things. Like, oh man, like you've heard the term "so and so is living rent free." I'm living rent free in so and so's head. This is kind of one of those situations. Tony Isabella needs to just, in my opinion, it's going to be more healthy for him to just sit back and say, you know what? Screw DC. Screw DC. Like, in my opinion, Isabella created Black Lightning. Go create another character. Go create another character. The cast and crew of Black Lightning treats him with respect. Cool, bro. Like, do that. Keep up with that. But as far as DC, constantly hating, like these guys are living rent free in his head, man. If the DC office is ever shut down, they could live in Tony Isabella's head. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, like the guy's just, in my opinion, he's just too creative to let stuff like that happen to him. It's aging him. It's making him unhealthy, mentally and physically. I'm sure of it because I know what holding a grudge can do. You know what I'm saying? That guy who gave me pneumonia. Uh, God, I still hold a grudge against this person. Maybe I need to just forgive and forget. You know what I'm saying? Well, forgive and never forget. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I think he just needs to calm down and just let that go. Seriously. This it's just a bit much. Okay. Did anyone actually like Year of the Villain? I didn't. I absolutely didn't. Never seen so many Uno reverse cards in a single comic. That's a good one. Tommy's a volunteer first responder, and my grandpa is a retired one. He almost would have responded to 9/11. Yeah, yeah, they called in a lot of people. Would you ever recommend New 52 Superman? Hell's no, Spartan. Hell's no. Um, excuse me. New 52 needs to just die a death. Take what little you could salvage from it and just let all the rest go, man. I've argued before that I forget where I argued it, but I said before that New 52 is more hated than Bendis' Superman. Why? Because you at least still have some people who are like, well, I don't know. You can still say Bendis has done some incredible things before. He's still done some cool things in the story. Hey, it was enjoyable for a little while, all sorts of reasons and whatnot. But there are very few people who will actually sit there and just hands down solidly say, no, 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 no. New 52 was good. It was good. I'm glad that they did the whole Flashpoint crisis thing and brought in the New 52 from the post-crisis world. Post-crisis world sucked, and I'm glad that we had, New 52. I'm mad that we did Rebirth. You know what I'm saying? Because New 52 was so much better. I don't know anybody personally who's ever said something like that. I just don't. Yeah, silence is golden. Silence is golden. Uh, but best thing to come out of 52 or Scott Snyder's Batman and Brian Azzarello's Wonder Woman. I don't know. I don't even like the Wonder Woman that much. Mind you, I haven't read it all. I did wind up getting a little bit annoyed at it for a while. It's like the retcons. Sometimes the retcons just need to stop, dude. This was a discussion I had on Discord not too long ago. The retcons just need to stop at some point. It's like, oh, she wears the bracers so that she doesn't go into an uncontrollable rage. So you're saying that Wonder Woman by herself is evil. So she's not like Wonder Woman was created to be about love and self-control and power and feminism, not feminazism, feminism, all right? Actual true feminism, which I support and agree with 100%. That's it. But no, 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 no. New 52 Wonder Woman. No, no. She's just an uncontrollable rage machine. And it's actually her bracers that you love, not her herself, because she's actually evil. She wants to destroy everything around her. Yeah, no, sorry. I didn't dig it. Professor Bill, I'm glad my Facebook post in the group helped make the pod a little easier for. Oh, that was you. Thank you for that. for you from Nick, and thanks for the recommend on the John's Hawkman run. It was amazing. It was, wasn't it? Yeah, loves me some Hawkman, especially when he's written well. If Isabella doesn't like the way DC's using Black Lightning, why not do a Black Lightning book? He did a miniseries a while ago. Yes. Was that Cold Dead Hands? Wonder if he would consider doing one full time. I don't think they want him to do it. They gave it to Brian Edward Hill. Like I said, I think that he just needs to move on, and I think that it would be more cathartic for him to just make a new character and just do his own, like go to Image Comics and just do his own comic book there and just release that creativity there, man. Because yeah, it's a lot. I like Bendis's Superman. Cool. I liked it for a while, and I do like some things about it, but just too much of it was just too out of control. Like my kids out there. Grant Morrison and Greg Pak's run on Action Comics were good. Cool. You have a Discord? Geez, here we go. Since when? Yep, I do have a Discord, and it is, whoops, right here. Let me close that, and here is my Discord. And we've actually got a Discord, what have you, conversation, like an actual like verbal chat. Also, it doesn't have to just be typing. You can actually jump in and we can hear your voice and we can all start talking to each other because I jump in once in a while. Timo, what's up, Timo? How you doing? Late to class? God damn you. I like New 52 Demon Knights and some of Green Lantern, but not much. Yeah, there's always some good like I said, there's always some good things that you can pull out from the New 52. There's good things you can pull out of anything, but the only good storyline from New 52 I'll stand by is Red Hood and the Outlaws. I keep hearing that, man, and I need to go back and read it. I've just got to the Tinian take, and it's still good to me. If Milestone ever gets back up and running, that would be great. If it was independent, then yes. He could always take a character there. Yeah, you know what? Why not? Ooh, have him write for Static. That could be fun too. Why not? Why not? Grayson was a good run. His run in Spiral, I didn't read all, I think there were only 10 issues. I didn't read all of them, but I did read some of them. Hey, this is a really long one, dude. 2 hours, 6 minutes, 24, 25, 26 seconds. That's a lot. So yeah, and I am also at the end of the chat. So this is going to seem like I'm just cutting it off, but let me just see whatever's going to come in really quick and I'm going to bounce. I'm in the Discord. Man, I've missed a lot. You have. You have missed a lot. Have you watched the DC Universe Harley Quinn animated series? I have not. I have not. I didn't, dude. And I purchased the Justice League Dark movie that just came out, which is apparently really important because it ends the New 52 version of the animated universe. Which, yay! I've been saying for a while that just needs to die a death. The freaking DC EU needs to die a death. You know what I'm saying? No, like, I think that we should all be able to agree that it's just even honestly, guys, even like Jeff Johns's Shazam, from the New 52. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, it's amazing." I kind of like the previous version of Shazam, all the previous versions of Shazam a lot better. Billy Batson was actually worthy of being Shazam. Here, he's a kid who's always running away from home and he's bad and he does bad things all the time. But what? His heart is good. Again, dude, I get it, but no, when you do the bad things that he's done and you steal and you do all these bad, no, I just don't see that as being somebody who's worthy. I just don't. I just don't see it. So I'm not feeling it. I'm not interested in redemption stories of people who were never good to begin with. I just don't dig those. I don't dig those stories. Have you watched the DC Universe Harley Quinn? Oh, just read that. Do you like The Big Bang Theory? Nah, not so much. I have everything on DVD, all the seasons and season 1 of Sheldon. My wife hasn't watched that yet, but she's already watched all the other ones. She loves Big Bang Theory. Okay, my youngest son is actually really having a bad time, and I don't think my wife is dealing with it in a way that's decent. I don't think she's doing anything bad. I just don't. I think she's having a hard time dealing with his temper tantrum. So I'm going to go out there. I'm going to handle business. make sure that he's okay, make sure everybody's okay. So, any thoughts on Tom Taylor? I love Tom Taylor. I think that Tom Taylor does an absolutely amazing work. He really gets to know a character well, and he returns a character in a really great way. I love the way he tells his stories. Well, a perfectly good Billy could get boring in a movie. I hear you. I hear you. But at the same time, I'm going to go back to Stephen King's take on J.K. Rowling. Harry Potter wasn't boring to me. He wasn't boring at all to me. You know, Stephen King said J.K. Rowling pulled off something that most people can't pull off, while the rest of the world is very sardonic and very sarcastic in many ways. And they just look at, like we need anti-villains, we need Batman and Wolverine and Punishers out there to solve crimes because Captain America and Superman clearly aren't cutting it. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to disagree. You know what I'm saying? Peter Parker is a wonderful kid, and he made one mistake, and he learned from it. And it wasn't even that big of a mistake, right? It was a little tiny thing, but he learned from it. And it's like, hey, he didn't know this guy was going to murder somebody, at least off his Uncle Ben. He just stole some money from a guy who stole money from him. Hey, it's like, oh, karma. He was literally of the opinion of karma, you know? I don't think that's necessarily bad, but I don't think anybody gets bored of Spider-Man, I just don't see it. So I mean, maybe that's just me. But anyway, yeah, just it is what it is. I don't think I would get bored of. I think that the idea of like learning the world through the eyes of a kid, I don't think that would get boring at all, ever. It certainly wasn't back in the days it was originally created in Fawcett Comics. But I hear you. I hear what you're saying though. Um, Shazam movie was basically an improvised version of the New 52 run. Yes, it was. You rock, Bill. I hope everything stays well. Thank you. Night Professor. Smash that. Oh yeah, smash that like button, or else Suzanne will smash you. You'll never find a more lovable person. If she smashes you, she'll give you a cupcake afterwards, and it'll be a very tasty cupcake. So it's almost worth being smashed. I'm saying, if you're in the mood for a cupcake and you're just like, I could take, getting like, a punch in the chest. Cool, man. You know what I'm saying? You're probably more of a bear hug anyway. Have a good night, cuz. See you later, Tommy. Still remember that Celebrity Deathmatch episode? Oh, King wouldn't fight Rolling. What? That's just silly. Anyway, that's fine. I never saw that. Death of Superman movie was actually pretty good. A lot of people didn't like that, but it is what it is. I thought it wasn't bad. Anyway, guys, so I'm out. I'll talk to all you guys later. Love, peace, and hair grease. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.